Hello there. I'm Adamations, or Adam, and I am the director for Five Nights at Freddy's After Hours. And Josh.
I am not Adam, and I'm not the director. I'm Josh, and I did like 8 different characters and some of the mixing.
Exactly. So me and Josh are going to be basically doing a small little director's commentary. I guess more for me it's a director's commentary, but Josh is just going to be here sort of assisting with it. So I have someone to bounce off of.
Yeah, and I also directed Security Breach the musical, so...
Oh my god, yes, we should do a commentary on that sometime. But essentially, we're just gonna go over, like, some things that happened with the project, some cool details, maybe a little bit about the background and production, and because this is a year old now, by the time this video goes out, we're recording this like a month earlier. And, yeah, that small little intro sequence, I put that together in like a day.
Are we off the script now? Are you done? Are you done with your little intro bit?
I guess. I don't know. I never really had a start for the intro bit. Oh my god, I never realized how quiet this was compared to like the intro. But no, this is welcome to like the one of 2 tracks that I did rights for.
And also one of like 3 tracks that got remastered.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Fully
yeah,
100%.
we remastered a lot of the older tracks mainly because, well, they needed it. Essentially, like when you've
we remade the art, but like for a lot of them we didn't like go back.
Yes, I mean some of them we remixed. Like this one we remixed and re-recorded. And like this one was a complete overhaul because like when you're working on a project for like a year and a half, there's going to be changes and like development. Like my art skill had like vastly improved by that point. I know that we were more used to how we'd mix things together, and we were just more used to the recording process because this is my first time like with a project like this.
This is your first time in the director's chair.
It was my first time in the director's chair. And I'm very surprised that we managed to get a full, complete 30-track musical out of it, which is it's just really nice. So I guess I get to go over like some things that were like in the original video that just aren't here. First of all, there was like the technical difficulty screen that used to show up with this, and it doesn't show up anymore because it was a bit obstructive, honestly.
Yeah, it was very out of nowhere.
Yeah, and this is it's meant to be like just a standard performance from these guys. Just like, yeah, here's what you get. Here's what they're all about. Here's the friendly side before we go into like all of the dark parts of the universe. So essentially, there's only like a few tracks like that.
Yeah. Can I admit something real quick?
Of course.
It's a bit late in the track to this, but I didn't know that you didn't write this until it went up. when I first recorded this, like the first time, I thought that you wrote it. And I was like, dang, this is really good. I feel like it could be official.
Yeah, no. First track, yeah, because this originated in Help Wanted, for the unused showtime that is still unused.
Yep.
Another track that got remade art, but the mix is still the same. Because in the original art, it looked. The child on the left looked like he was about to throw hands, like he was about to
ready to fight.
He was about to like arm wrestle Freddy and fucking like shock him over his head.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Exactly. But another reason why he was changed is because he looked a little bit like the crying child, which does not fit this anymore. Like that's my original idea was like, oh, what if this was the crying child? But like I wasn't really thinking then. Also, yep, Shadow Bonnie in the back.
It was it's Spring Bonnie.
Shadow Bonnie, what am I saying? Yeah, Spring Bonnie.
Fake gamer girl.
What am I saying?
God.
This is my stuff and I'm forgetting. But yeah, no, like in the original video, it was a little bit ambiguous and people kept saying it was Golden Freddy. So I had to add the ear bits to like let people know that was Spring Bonnie in the background.
This is the missing kids incident.
The MCI.
Oh no.
I guess it would be pretty cool to talk about the cast as well, especially for like these first few, because Josh, well, me and you were like 75% of the original 4.
Yep.
Yeah. So you were of course Freddy and Foxy, which you did excellent jobs at.
Oh, well, thank you. Shut the hell up. You did even better on Bonnie.
Yeah, I was the Bonnie for this project, and then Secret Has Fun was
Secret.
the Chica. And I think honestly, I think it works really well. I do like the cast for this. I think it would be pretty bad of me to say if I didn't like it.
Yeah, and just start shit talking random people. Adam, feel free to dog on my performances for any of this. I can take it.
I know you can, and that's why I won't. Anyway, so this is this was another one that was just like remade art. The original one, like, honestly wasn't too bad. And honestly, this one, like, the original art, like, it served well enough that, like, this isn't, like, a proper, like, rework as much as it is just kind of, like, a trace over with a new coat of paint. Because if you compared the two of them, they're basically the same image, it's just this one has better coloring and stuff.
Yeah. Until we get to the faceless part.
Until we get to the faceless part.
That's a full remake.
I really do want to talk about that. Because the original faceless art that I did for Bonnie, when this was originally being made, I was a bit more uncertain about what I was doing at times, and the mixer requested that we do like an image, like we do an image of like Bonnie's face, like faceplate open and like reaching for the camera. But by that point, like I didn't really know if I wanted that in it. But I made it anyway, hastily, because they were asking for it. And it ended up looking really bad. Like, probably the worst bit of art that I've probably ever made, in my opinion.
But now this looks great now.
And now I updated it to this, and I'm much happier with this, and it's so much cleaner.
One of the best pieces of art.
It's probably it's gone up there, and like you can see, like in the original video, it was only like 10 seconds long, if that, and now I've like really held on it in the re-edit.
Yeah, just to I worked hard on it. That's an old piece.
That one is an old piece. That one did not get updated. I also like the effect here a bit more with the black light Bonnie. It just works a bit better with like the small glowing eyes. So there's not like a lot to talk about with this track really. It's really just Bonnie being creepy, and like the idea I was going for with like the original like the first 5 tracks was just okay. Here's the regular performance with track 1. Do a Freddy track, which is basically him on the show stage. Because I always imagine like Freddy to kind of be the friendliest of them, despite the fact he's the most like aggressive animatronic in FNAF 1. And Bonnie and Chica, I kind of they're kind of the same in a way, and it's like okay, they recognize Michael in the office. Or like as like working there, and they basically hate him because the whole thing with Michael is that he looks exactly like William, or something to that end, where the animatronics get confused. And I feel like that's mainly a thing in Sister Location, but I carried it over into the other ones because I think that's honestly a pretty cool detail that like it was kind of a retcon, honestly.
Yeah.
But so well, yeah, why not carry it into this? Anyway, Chica's melody. Another one with reworked art, of course, because the original art, the posters in the background, they used people's fan art.
Yeah,
that was in
like official renders too.
Exactly, and it just didn't fit, and it was lazy, so I decided to rework it. And I feel like I could have done a bit better with the posters, but all in all, it's not taking someone else's art, which is not a right thing you should do. And if you're making a project, do not do that without the artist's permission.
Yeah. Please credit everyone you can when making a project. And,
absolutely.
If you're not using something that's yours, if you're using something that's not yours, get permission, please.
Absolutely.
At the very least.
It's essential with these kind of projects as well, because then everyone gets their fair credit, and then you don't end up with a bad reputation, which is really fun. I really wish I did better with these lyrics though, because these are just kind of. They're very basic and bare bones. Like that's a thing with like that. If there's
I'm
thing,
gonna get in there and I'm gonna kill you. Yeah.
yeah. It's just like not great. And also Secret did really good with the Chica vocals though. This is another one. Another really fun one. I think this might be my favorite FNAF 1 track.
That's very valid.
That we have. Partly down to your vocals, King. You are like you do a really good job, and I like
These
the
vocals
idea.
Are like 3 years old.
I know they're 3 years, but they still hold up.
I disagree, but thank you. That means a lot.
This one wasn't like an original track from Fnaf. Like this is nowhere seen in Fnaf, but like Blade, the mixer for this project, basically found this because I was struggling to find something for a Foxy track, and it was like, oh, it was a Fnaf remix in it. Primarily featured Foxy, so I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. This kind of works. And I do like that it's more of a somber track compared to, like, you know, how much stress Foxy does give you in the actual game. Like, I liked the idea of Foxy being the more, like, down-to-earth one, like, secluded in his own thoughts, like, on the separate stage from everyone else.
You're very introverted.
Yeah, kind of. Obviously, being a broken-down animatronic, I think he'd have more of that. And I feel like FNAF Plus, the teasers we've seen so far kind of explore that a little bit, and I think that was my mindset at the time. I can't remember if that Foxy teaser was out by the time I wrote this, but it still kind of coincides with that. Oh, also at the end of this, like the original edit for this video that never made it. But at the end of this, the original edit of the video had like a jump scare.
Yeah.
For Foxy at the end.
It feels very jarring for this.
It feels
like
really
very
jarring
sad and
for
slow.
Exactly. It did not work. So we decided to just remove it and just have this really peaceful ending fade out to black. It just didn't really make too much sense. Anyway, that's the end of the FNAF 1 tracks. Tracks I look back on quite fondly, honestly. You know, they were the original ones that, you know, I wrote. And I feel like some of them were written in later, but, you know, I think they do a good job in establishing what this project is kind of like. We've got some things to talk about with the next two tracks. Or I guess old friends and Springtrapped. These are rough, okay? These are these are probably the roughest tracks that we have.
I disagree, but I'm not gonna get into that right now because there are others.
Yeah, absolutely. We all have our own opinions on this project, and essentially, I'm trying to think. This one took. I can't remember how long it took to make this one, but it was a while for us to put this one together.
Month and a half.
Exactly. Is that the dead Mangle teaser in the background?
I think so.
I couldn't tell if I was high, like, just looking at that. Like, did I seriously use that? Or did someone else? I can't remember if that was in the original edit or not.
I put the captions on for this video, but I did not put together the actual video itself.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was me that put this video together. I think it might have been. I think it was me that put this video together. So I must have had a image I thought was really dark.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Also, JJ back there.
Also, Balloon Boy doesn't have eyes.
Balloon Boy doesn't have eyes. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, this one is like, it doesn't flow very well. Is the best way to put it. Like, it's not. I think I did the best with what I had with this track, but like when it comes to FNAF 2 audio and things, there's not a lot of songs to pull from. And I like the idea kind of, it's like, because this canon is not parallel to the canon in the actual games, otherwise this would take place before FNAF 1. But in this convoluted lore that for some reason I made up.
Even more convoluted than the actual one.
Exactly, like these are meant to be the original 4 animatronics, which they are in the games, but like these are like the 4 broken down from the first one. Which doesn't make sense, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah. It's just really unclear, it's just quite rough, and it's not my favourite track that we've ever made, unfortunately. Even though the remaster does do a bit better. For the puppet!
Oh my
gosh.
The puppet. Is that Lonely Freddy?
Yeah, if you can't tell, I was really into the Fazbear Fright stories when I made this one. I do kind of I want to remake the art for this one day, but like for the project in general, like this one was fine. This one could stay. Mainly because I liked how I drew the puppet's mask. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
We had to recast the puppet actually, because the original puppet that we had just kind of broke off contact from us.
I was gonna say, can we say that they ghosted us?
Yeah. Like, it's just
we got V, and they did a really good job with this.
V came into as the recast puppet, and they were really good. They do this really. It's just a really nice voice that they have for the puppet. I like the puppets one. I wanted to go for like a lot more of like an elegant way of going about the issue, but while still being that sort of like, I hate you and I want to kill you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's sort of a trap that all of these tracks fall into, because most of them are just, you're going to die, mate. Unfortunately, which is like an issue with like, yeah, as I said, it's kind of an issue with this entire project, really. Although I do go about it in many different ways, I think.
And I think it gets a bit better later on.
It does. My writing definitely improved for the later tracks that I wrote. Like Puppet, I was one of the last ones I wrote, honestly, because for the longest time I never thought to use the Puppet song. And then this was like a segue into FNAF 3. This audio you did not re-record.
I did not. I wish I did, honestly.
I probably should have approached you about that.
Yeah, but I was genuinely really surprised when,
exactly,
like,
when
the
this showed
premiere
up,
happened.
because
Like,
this was the first original part of the full complete package, and you recorded this like not even like a few weeks into the being cast in the project, really.
Yeah, like
this was a very early recording.
Within the week of me getting cast as Afton, yeah.
Exactly,
like, okay,
and then it shows up in the final thing. Finally. Right, Springtrap. Yep, there's the mangle again.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, okay, well, there's an Easter egg that even I didn't know about until this point.
I think it might have been what you said before.
It's just like, I thought this was a dark image that I could use.
Yeah, just...
I mean, at least it's FNAF related. It could have been something. It could have been something far worse.
Yeah.
This one also took ages to come out. And we also had to recast the Springtrap midway through this production because our original cast Fixo. I still really like what they did for the Springtrap stuff, and it's not like they were kicked out of the project. They left on their own volition because they couldn't participate anymore, and that's completely fine. When it comes to like online projects like this, sometimes you can't rely on everyone to completely stay on board the entire time. And Defixo, if you are watching this by some miracle, I hope you are doing well, man.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
We have not talked to you in forever.
Yeah. I would say you also did a very good job with Springtrap.
Yeah, I did have to take over for this. And I'm happy with how I did the Springtrap. I wish I gave it maybe a few more if we did this project a year later, I feel like my voice would have matured a lot more to do it better. But for this, I think it works. And the whole thing with FNAF 3, the FNAF 3 tracks, because I think this one might be my favorite. It might be my favorite collection. I think the FNAF 6 ones might be my favorite collection of songs.
Yeah, that's very valid.
But this one might be my second favorite, mainly because it's the idea is Springtrap has everyone trapped in this sort of place, and the spirits are being bound to him because they're the ones keeping him alive. It's exactly it's their memories stuck onto this guy, and they've kind of lost their way, which is why they're sort of pleading for help, and they're they don't remember their names and stuff. Yes. We changed the order, or I must say, I changed the order of the tracks, because originally this one was the 13th. I think it was the 13th track. And now this one came back because it needed to make narrative sense to have both the bad ending and the good ending in the same musical, and I didn't want to leave any one of them out. And also, I actually quite like these lyrics. It's just it's just very melancholic, and yo, what the hell's going on? This isn't supposed to happen. We don't know who we are, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, going back to the order of things, it made sense to have this as instead of have it be the ending to it, have it be the start, and this is where the spirits are at the moment. And the mission is to save them, which is kind of what we get into with the next track, which was also reordered. which is Shadow Bonnie. The only one to use a different font as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Shadow Bonnie's just extra like that.
But no, I do like the voice that Blades had for Shadow Bonnie. It's just very husk-like, very ghostly.
Yeah, with the effects
but
going
it
on,
also
the
feels
shifting.
like it fits as a Bonnie as well as just like a demon, kind of, is the best way you can put it. So yeah, this was reordered, mainly because it acts as a way for a character to say, "Hey Michael, get your shit together and complete these mini games or whatever they are in canon."
Use your Undertale powers to go back and play the arcade games again.
Yes, exactly.
Get the good ending.
The reason this was like if you're asking like why this wasn't like in the right order before, it's because I'm dumb, but also because like when you play the game, this is kind of the order you experience things as well, because the Shadow Bonnie minigame is the last one you go through, and you either get the bad ending or the good ending, so it just made to have them sent at the end, like when we first put out the videos. But for the complete project, it needed to make some sort of sense in a way as to like, okay, why would you have the bad ending and then have the good ending right afterwards?
Yeah.
So have the bad ending first, have the person tell them you've got to save them, and then go through the mini games, and then you've earned the good ending.
Yeah.
So that was the thought process there, and that's kind of why I like the FNAF 3 song so much, because it starts off really heavy and sort of like kind of gritty in a way with like the Springtrap stuff. And then it gets, like, kind of hauntingly, not happy, but, like, childish with, like, the mini-games and things. And, like, the child outlook on how they, like, being dead, I guess.
Yeah.
Just being taken at a young age and not really understanding that.
Oh god, I forgot about this.
The old arcade teaser. This arcade teaser was put out.
This one wasn't even used in the as like a teaser, is the thing.
It was used as a teaser, wasn't it?
No, it was never actually put out.
It was.
Wasn't it just the other Welcome to the Arcade? Okay, I might be misremembering.
It was that was the original one we put out, and I just put it in there as like a segue to the arcade. Oh, yes! Then we get so the arcade minigames. This was like the first one. This was the first art that I made for the project, but not the art that you see in the video.
Oh, yeah.
Because originally there was some art that I made for this track, and it was like a properly drawn piece with like Balloon Boy floating off into the skies.
Oh, I remember that.
Which, if I still have that file, I will place it on screen for you guys now to see. But the reason it wasn't used is because, well, it was just more consistent to have it in line with the rest of the things, and that was a very early decision before I decided to have the pixelated stuff for the minigames. And then have the phantoms sort of be as a contrasting side to the happiness that Balloon Boy's presenting. Which Silver did a very good job of voicing BB. Especially at the time. And also the arcade bits at the end that tease the next one.
Yeah.
So first of all, there's no lyrics.
Yeah.
Which was an oversight that I realized too late after uploading this, the full complete package. So we uploaded it afterwards, and that's the complete video. You can see it in the playlist. Also, do you know how difficult it was to find the sprite of Mangle?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember.
I had to use a Tangle sprite from FNAF World and then recolor it.
Yeah, someone's like fan made.
Because in the original one, it was like poorly traced over. You can see the pen marks. But no, you and Cam did a really nice job with this, and then Blade also provided some pretty good rewrites to like how this track could go, with like bouncing between the two different voices, because Mangle having a male and female voice is really nice.
Yeah.
And it's just a sort of I quite like this track now, like with its reworks.
This is what I was saying before of I feel like the original Mangle's Quest was probably one of the roughest ones.
That one was one of the roughest ones, mainly purely down to the mixing alone, and the art that I made. There was a lot of factors that probably make that one on the lower end. No disrespect to anyone who worked on it at all.
Of course,
it's just sometimes there's got to be a lower one.
Yeah.
Also, in the original track of this, there was like you could very clearly see like a black scribble over it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And this track was originally called Swan Lake, which at the time I never realized was literally just probably the most well-known like ballet song ever. So it was it was a bit too generic to call it Swan Lake. So instead
Stage 01
originally named it to Stage 01 because that's the actual name of the minigame, not the name of the track. So while the song is Swan Lake, the minigame's name is Stage 01, and it just helped to distinguish it a bit more. Also this one of like having the Golden Freddy come to greet the crying child that was Golden Freddy as like a I don't under I like to imagine like Golden Freddy does not or Fredbear, however you want to say it, doesn't understand that this kid is dead.
Yeah.
And just like being the old jolly guy. And also props to Scott for voicing Scott Cawthon for voicing this. No.
Yeah, Scott
it's
Cawthon
pretty
himself.
funny that it was Scott, that the initials that he has is Scott C.
Got some questions in the comments.
A few people were like, "Oh, did you get Scott Cawthon for that?" No, it was our friend Scott with the last name initial C. It's just a very funny coincidence, and man,
Scott, if you're watching this, we
Exactly.
want you for more stuff on this channel too.
exactly. We got to get you back on here, man. It's been a while. This one's a really nice track. This is probably the best way I probably could have ended off this little chapter of the first half of the I think the next one also does that really well, but like to cap off the first half of the musical, like FNAF 1, 2, and 3, because that's what I've always liked about the first 3 games is like they're always a nice complete package, and the 4th one is like an epilogue in a way, despite the fact that one did open up an entire can of worms that led us to today.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to like remaster this one again someday, because this one I feel like could be even better, even though I really like how it is now. And this one, the art is kind of in reference to like the teaser where Freddy's laying down his hat, like after FNAF 3 that was put out. I really like that teaser. I think it's a really strong teaser, and I wanted to sort of replicate that with like the capping off of the first 3 games tracks.
The first trilogy, yeah.
Then this.
Adam, why did you call it the Bite of 87?
So I feel like we should address this. This, as I said before, this is not the same canon as the actual Five Nights at Freddy's, and while I am very aware that this is most likely the Bite of 83, but for the purposes of this project, which can completely ignore anything after Ultimate Custom Night and stuff that came after, it's more convenient to call this the Bite of 87. And Josh, you brought this up earlier, I totally should have just called this track The Bite.
You should have just called it the Bite, Adam.
I could have just done that, and it would have been much easier.
And you wouldn't have people in the comments, and you
Exactly.
wouldn't have been fucking wrong.
Anyway, that was the only time that Char's GA was a part of this project. Very small part, but we thank you nonetheless for participating in this project.
And here's the other track, one of 2 tracks that got fully,
This
refurbished
one
in terms
got
of art
fully
and...
partly redone because Pug didn't re-record and Scott didn't re-record. Everyone else did.
They didn't? Oh, I didn't even notice. I thought they did too.
Yeah. So this one, like as I said before, like this one's sort of like an epilogue to like the rest of it, and it's like going over the 5th spirit and basically their journey into the afterlife. With all their animatronic friends. I'm putting that in quotation marks. You can't see that. But like them sort of being with him in his final moments. and the sort of like how he remembers those animatronics as like how we wanted to remember them, like as friendly, cuddly creatures. Not once, because these are not interpretations of like, these aren't his dead friends, these aren't the missing children, these aren't the possessed animatronics, these are just the animatronics as they were intended to be on stage.
Yeah, just his imaginary friends. Yeah.
His imaginary friends of, you know, these guys performed on stage and brought happiness. That's kind of, and they're there to comfort him and like make him forget that he died in a really traumatic incident. Also, this one really needed the redo art. I'm much happier with how this one, even though Chica looks high as fuck.
I was about to mention, Chica looks bloodthirsty. She looks like Huggy Wuggy.
She looks baked as a pie, on God. But regardless, I feel like some of this is like really corny lyric writing. Especially that line.
I think it adds to it.
But I think it works because it's definitely more like in the child's mind. And then having like the Fredbear plush as the main one, and then having Fredbear talk to him, you know, the one that, you know, induced the bite, and he's still like holding on to him, like that point onward. Because this is like, it is primarily based on like the ending cutscene for Fnaf 4, Ignoring the Box. You know, the one where he's like sitting down next to the Fredbear plush, and he's like, you know, I will put you back together and all that. Because in this instance, I like to imagine it as the crying child's, you know, soul being put into Golden Freddy. That's kind of how this is intended to be. And I'm not denying the existence of Cassidy whatsoever. It's just not as focused on here.
I still get chills at this part with Fredbear coming in.
Yeah, exactly. I also thought it was important not to show the face either. Mainly because
Crying Child has a bit of PTSD with the face.
I was about to say, I feel like if I think like a darker take you could have on that is that the face is like bloodied up.
Yeah.
But like, and like, you know, they don't want to look at that face. That's not how I intended it. I mean, it could be. If you want to read it like that, that is perfectly fine. I think that's a really cool reading. But yeah, this one needed a little re-recording because it was a little off-kilter on the first one. And I feel like we got better at writing vocals and things, and also the flat line in the background. We got a little bit better at like recording these sorts of vocals over time, and it just got better. Now another little original bit.
Adam, as the official, like, Muses Meyer FNAF lore expert aficionado, explain what this was.
Yeah. Do you not understand, or?
I mean, I kind of understand, but well, for the audience.
Yes, for the audience. For the audience. This is basically after Michael has freed the spirits of the originals, being told by the puppet whose soul hasn't rested yet that there is an underground bunker for the sister location, which, for the record, I think is a really stupid thing in the lore. Like, just having this underground basement full of these killing machines is really dumb.
I mean,
but
I don't think it became a place to hold the killing machines until way later.
Of course, but like, having this big underground bunker and things. But this is basically...
I'm not gonna get into all the FNAF lore right now.
Yeah, this was the segue into sister location, essentially. I had to do it in some way, because it's not my story. This isn't really my lore, this isn't my story. FNAF's already been told. We know what happens. The only thing that I've done originally is change up the order that the events happen in. So, Michael goes down into the sister location after the fact. Which, maybe it doesn't make sense, maybe there's some loopholes there that don't make sense, but this is a musical project based on Five Nights at Freddy's, don't get your knickers in a twist.
Oh, it's a YouTube comment, of course.
Yeah, exactly. But no, this is another one where it's like very, very uninspired lyrics. Fear, Panic, Dread came back though, as a little motif. And also the lyrics have no borders.
Didn't even notice that. Good job.
Yep. And then having this last bit with Baby. But yeah, these are some very uninspired lyrics, I will admit. And they're meant to, this whole art thing's meant to replicate like the sister location, like main menu. I feel like I could have done it a bit better, but for what it was, I think it works.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I should like say if there's anyone like making like a project like this. Know that like not everything has to be perfect on your first time round. And like even when you're looking back on it, recognize that not everything had to be perfect, or this was everything that it could have been. Because there's always going to be improvements that you're going to see prior on. That entire sentence made no sense, but there's always going to be things that you saw that you think I could have done better there, or, you know, if only I'd done this differently. But at the time, you didn't know that you could have done that better. And at the time, you probably could have thought this might have been really good. And that's always going to happen no matter what you're making. So don't let that affect you when you're, like, making this sort of stuff. Don't strive for perfection. Strive for what you think will be good in the end.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with, like, just improvement as a whole. Just, like, no matter what you make, you're always gonna look back, like, within a month,
exactly,
maybe even less, like a year to a month, and just be like, oh, I can do that better, or I wish I did this better.
There's always
like,
gonna be things there.
There's nothing stopping that, so, like, don't get caught up on it.
Exactly, like this new project, Dark Deception, that we're working on, to plug that real quick.
Yeah.
By the time, by the time this is done, we'll have like what, 3, 4 of the tracks out. I can't remember. I don't know when. I can't remember when this is going up exactly. Basically,
like 2 tracks
I think it's a lot shorter as of now, but there's obviously a lot. I think I've improved a lot more on like the quality, directing, like my art. You know, hiring on people. When I say hiring on people, but like bringing on people to like help out with different things, and it's just I think it's a better overall directed thing. But before we diverge too far, Funtime Freddy and Bon Bon.
Funtime Freddy and Bon Bon.
This one's just a very fun track. It's kind of back to the original sort of like Freddy Fazbear theme, where it's just like here are the guys doing a small performance. And I like to imagine Funtime Freddy just entertains himself like this quite a lot. And this kind of gets into, like, giving the animatronics, like, really weird, complex personalities in a way. Or just like, yeah, I get bored sometimes. This is meant to be silly. Like, this track it is not meant to be deep whatsoever. It's just meant to be, hey, Funtime Freddy and Bon Bon are friends. They do shows sometimes, but they have no one to perform to. So, you know, they make their way into the breaker room one day, and they're like, hey, what's this? Isn't this really cool and quirky?
Wait, is it ever explained in Sister Location why Freddy is just hanging out in the breaker room on the opposite side of where he's
got bored. This is exactly why. This is my canon reasoning for why he's in the breaker room. For all you
he got bored,
lore
so he went
experts.
to go see Ballora, but got lost.
What the? Wait, hang on. What happened there with the art?
The door closed and all the lights went out.
Hang on, wait, no, but that was the original. Oh my god, that was really bad. Anyway, The Runaway. We gotta talk about this one quickly because this is a really short track. Odd is great. Absolute legend. An absolute legend when it comes to voice acting things. And I've got to admit, when I originally wrote this script, Funtime Foxy was not in it. Funtime Foxy was not a character when I put up the cast list and I made the tracks. But Odd, for one reason or another, sent in a Funtime Foxy audition. And I listened to it and I'm like, that's perfect. I've got to make a Funtime Foxy track now. And he absolutely killed it.
Yeah, Odd is great. We love Odd in this household.
Yeah. A lot of this is very Metaton-esque. Like, with...
I mean... with the voice, like, how could it not be?
Exactly. And I'm not ashamed of that. That's honestly really fun. And also just the pinball guy in the background and the advertisements from Fnaf 6. Who cares how they got down there? It's an Easter egg. Get over it.
Yeah. Cry more.
Yep. Now we turn away from like all the really happy tracks. Another extra thing. A little prelude to the Crumbling Dreams. Because you know, I think it's good to honor this little melody that plays in in Sister Location, because it's really cool, it's really haunting.
And if we didn't do it, then there will be so many comments demanding that we did.
But no, it was just a small little thing to like lead into it. There's not a lot to it, in fairness. But I guess we can talk about how cool Cam is now.
Yeah. Speaking of cool people, we're just talking about Odd. Cam is also very cool and very talented.
Exactly. And she was an absolutely she absolutely killed it as Ballora in this. Dance Forever.
That's one of the things.
Wait, no, it's not. That's not.
Wait, no, it's
later
Dance
on.
With Me. Shit.
It's Dance With Me,
wait,
isn't it?
no.
Hang on, wait, let's rewind.
Cut it.
But no. Throughout this is like throughout the tracks where I hidden more and more references to Fazbear Fright stories.
I mean, how could you not?
How could I not? Because it's so easy to slip in. This was also
the phrase "room for one more," like that fits this plot perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. It was very difficult to like actually write lyrics for this one because the flow's really weird, especially in the second half. I'm like, oh, what do I do here?
Yeah.
But I like how I led up into the Crumbling Dreams bit, and Cam absolutely performed it really well.
Why did you come see me? Do you wish to dance with me?
There it is.
That's a reference.
That's the one.
That's a reference.
Notice I capitalized all of it.
Yeah, because people wouldn't have noticed otherwise.
Yeah, there's
Totally
a reference here, guys. I left it very ambiguous whether this is meant to be like Afton's wife or anything, because I wasn't too confident in that theory at the time. It would have been harmless to include, but like, you know.
I mean, how would you have included it? Just like, oh, just singing about her husband in the middle of this song.
Honestly, like, I feel like that in another universe I would have done that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but no, Ballora being like probably the most melodic out of any of the FNAF animatronics, I think Cam performed it really well.
Yeah.
In the end.
Cam, if you're listening to this, you're cool.
You're fantastic, Cam. And now next might be one of the most unique tracks, in terms of how it's sort of structured, I guess.
Is it Turtle Crusher?
It is Turtle Crusher next.
Yes.
It's another 8-bit minigame one. But it's like, it's different because it's like part of the main plot. This one has like an actual story to it. Like we get like as time moves on, like FNAF got more like acquainted with like actually having a plot line. So it's a lot easier to like
under 50 layers.
It's easier to make. I mean, like it was okay for me because I've been studying this game since like day one.
Oh yeah, same.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Me and Josh, we're both losers who have no life. So, well, we like looking at rats and bears. What's so bad about that? But no, this is meant to be just Circus Baby in her performance mode, just being like, "Heyo, everything's so bright and cheery in this world. You know, I'm made to entertain," and that's fantastic.
That's pretty cool.
She's not aware that she's a completely killing machine. Yet. Yes. And also her eyes are blue in this sequence, just to keep that, you know, in keeping with everything else.
Keep the lore, yeah.
And I'm sure the actual background is not meant to be, you know, rolling hills and, you know, bright blue skies, but like, for the purpose of the minigame, that's what Baby's world is like.
That's how she sees it all.
That's how she. And then like also Dev just does a really good job with Baby. I think she's it's just really nice. And this bit, yeah. We don't ever hear the bite, which I like.
Spooky jump scare.
Spooky jump scare. And then the red green eyes. Sorry.
Eyes are green now, yeah.
And it's just I really wanted that break in there just so we could return to the happy song. And then like everything comes back to reality as like the bunker comes back. Yeah. You know, we leave that imaginary world that she's a part of.
Yeah.
Right, it's gonna be difficult to talk about this without also talking about the fact that you, Josh, have made your own Watch Your Six.
It'll have been out for like
it'll have been out for a month by now. Yes.
When we're recording this, it's about to go out tomorrow.
Exactly. And I must say, please go watch that video if you haven't already. It has some really good lyrics, it has some really good vocals, and I also made the art for it.
Yeah, Adam made the art, and when I mentioned that I was doing this to Adam, he kind of demanded in the nicest way possible that he do the art because he wanted to redeem himself.
Exactly.
For this one.
not to say I don't like the art because I don't like it. No, it's very rough. The posing, the lighting, it's something that I knew I could improve on, and I didn't want to skimp on that opportunity to just make it better. Also, Adam trying not to use die in every single Fnaf track. Like, it's literally in every single. It's literally in every single one. Like, I actually need to keep a tally of that. Like, next time I go through this, I need to keep score of how many times the word die is used.
Yeah, take a sip every time die or dead is used.
That's just like we'd be shit faced. Get under your. I do like that kind of lyric there.
Get out of your skin is really clever.
Yeah. I think I was trying to do a reference to Join Us for a Bite there. I can't remember what it was. I do kind of like this because it's like the most like focused on the actual gameplay of FNAF. Like, this is like the first boss battle we've had, and it's probably the best boss battle we've had. I think.
Yeah. I'd say so.
I mean, there's not much to compare it to.
So yeah, this is very much the first track in the musical that's focused on, hey, you're stuck in a place with cameras and I'm trying to get in there to you.
Exactly. I think Chica's melody also does that, but like...
Maybe Chica's, but like, it's not the main focus.
Exactly. Watch Your Six, I think, also like, I just liked the bouncing between like the main baby vocals and then everyone else like being echoes, because they're all inside of that N-ard.
Yeah.
And also, I think before we talk about Demolition Inevitable here, you were originally the voice for Ennard. Like,
yes,
you were going to do an original voice for Ennard before I realized, no, that's not what Ennard is. Ennard isn't an original animatronic, they are Baby.
And I will say, I kind of pushed for you to use Baby instead. Me being the fucking lore junkie is like, no, this isn't what Ennard sounds like, Adam. I got cast as him, I don't care.
Exactly.
Also, shout out to Ryan. Also
very big shout out to Ryan. Oh, I really need to remake this art one day. It's just looking back and it like you always see the things that are like where it's like see those bricks clipping into the girders there. That's disgusting. That's uncivilized, man. But no. This was like based on the final cutscene for Custom Night, Sister Location. And, you know, having the bounce back between father and son, you know, one of them being a husk and a corpse, and the other one being a husk and a corpse. But both having,
father like son.
Both wanting to find each other, but both having... Honestly, no, they both have the exact same goal. Yeah. They both want to kill each other.
Yeah. So yeah, they're in the exact same boats right now.
They're in the exact same position, except one of them has better morals.
Mm-hmm.
And then having this... Originally, when I wrote this track, the two guys would be talking, like, singing, at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is a little reference back to the, Springtrapped.
Yeah. Springtrapped is the reference!
Yeah! The Voices of the Dead. You know, army we've created and all that. Oh, there's Die. No borders again.
I mean, I don't think the borders matter as much when it's this dark of a piece.
It doesn't really matter as much, but it's just like it's a pet peeve. It's like slight thing that annoys you.
The aesthetic of it.
Oh, and it comes back. See, like the borders are back.
Wait.
Oh, and they're gone!
Adam, what were you doing in the editing booth?
I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, regardless, yeah, they were both originally meant to sing over each other until I realized this kind of sounds bad. Because they're both singing the same melody, and it's different lyrics, so it just gets messy. And now we're back to the happy stuff again! But I think for FNAF 6 it works a lot better, because the entire juxtaposition of that game is like having this friendly tycoon part, and then the horrendous underbelly of everything else.
Yeah.
And in this script, do not ask how, but these spirits are still here as like
Definitely.
final, one final thing. I think if I were to rewrite this now, I feel like I would have these guys be like programs of Henry to be like as a warning. It doesn't make any like much sense, but like it's the only way that this could have worked.
Yeah.
I also did not reprise Bonnie in this.
Odd did.
Yep,
because-
Odd sent an audition for Rockstar Bonnie, and it sounds, because Rockstar Bonnie sounds so freakishly different as a Bonnie, that it just works here.
But we decided not to do the same thing with Freddy because
For some reason.
or Chica for some reason. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure why. But
I don't exactly know why. And see, here's the thing, like, sometimes, like, yeah, I'm happy with how this project came out, but, like, I still look back and think, why did I make this decision? Like, what was my goal here? So, yeah. I just, like, there's a lot of strange decisions I made on my first rodeo here. And I will continue to make strange decisions in projects, but, like...
It was your first rodeo.
It was the first one. So don't be too hard on yourself for your first one. Now this one seems to be the favorite among the Muses people.
The cast and crew
The
and
cast.
the viewers and the whatnot.
Yeah. And it's based on something that we legitimately never get to see in Five Nights at Freddy's. This is like one of the only ones where it's like based on... Actually no, some of the next two of the FNAF 6 tracks are based on something that we never really see. So these are two like abstract ones.
Set up the characters, yeah.
Exactly. Because I wanted to have a track based on every main animatronic in Five Nights at Freddy's 6.
Oh god, I want to remake this art so bad.
It still really works. So this is like Enard coming into the sewers after they've been spirited out of their enema.
What a way of saying it.
And yeah, so basically, I wanted the first one to be a back and forth between Molten Freddy and Circus Baby. Basically because this was hinted at in the source code as like an event like that. There's a reason Circus Baby was kicked out, and I thought, hey, it would be cool if we can flesh this out a little bit more. And like, hey, why would these guys abandon Baby here? And what would happen if they had a little exchange? It's sort of like a little song battle, in a way.
Epic rap battles of Fnaffery.
Fnaffery.
Molten Freddy. Versus
Spaghetti on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm also very certain that uncautious is not a word.
Time to go look it up. I'm googling it right now.
Also, Josh, you went really hard on the art for this stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Like, especially these ones with like the silhouette and the red background. These are probably some of my favorite ones.
They're still very much want to remake them, but thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but they're very simple and they get across very well.
But yeah, that goes back to what we were talking about before. Hey, you're gonna look back at shit that you made and thought was good before and hate it. It's okay if you do that.
Exactly.
Don't worry.
And of course, to any of the original cast or people who are watching this, I do not hate this project whatsoever. I hold no ill will to anyone who participated in this project, because I obviously made some really dumb decisions during this project, and this is sort of my chance to look back at it, you know, with a fresh pair of eyes and see, like, you know, remind myself, like, you know, how are we handling things today compared to our first go at it? And I think we've come a long way, honestly. Especially with, you know, like, the Koopalings package, you know, that was, like, made in, like, the span of, like, a month.
Yeah.
from like just me
Less
alone. And I feel like that's like of much higher quality. The Fire Emblem package, I'm really proud of. Me and you worked on that for quite a while, and I think those are some of my favorite videos on the channel. So if you have the chance, please go watch them.
Even if you don't know Fire Emblem, they still go really
exactly.
hard.
They're just really, they're just tracks that go really hard. And so yeah, these tracks are basically, I still look back at them fondly. And
we had to start from somewhere.
Exactly, and I think we still had some pretty good beginnings.
Also, to circle back around, uncautious is a word.
Well, there we go. I'm a genius lyric writer, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Retract the statement. Everything you make is perfect.
Yeah. Everything you make is perfect always, and if you don't think so anymore, then you're wrong.
Exactly. But no, of course. But no, I really like both Pugs and Dev's performance here for both of the characters. I think I wrote it pretty okay as well.
Yeah. And the mixing and the vocoding on the big sort of chorus parts of it. Not the chorus, but like, the main.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This bit.
Yeah,
I
this
really
part,
like the vocoded vote parts. Honestly.
They went hard.
And like Blade did a good job adding those in for the mixing. Yeah, no, I really like this. And I can see why it's most people's favorites, honestly. It's very character-driven, this one.
Yeah, it's got a lot more of structure. Of like,
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, we do this, then we do this, then we're back to the first, then we're back to the second. Yeah.
And then I like Circus Baby having to like wrangle with like, who's in control, the child spirit or the killing machine. And eventually, ultimately, going with the killing machine.
My favorite arcade game.
I have a lot to say about this one.
This one is definitely the most, like, out of left field, I will say.
It is very out of left field because I think its placement is very odd and its inclusion is very baffling. Like, I think it's made well. I think this is the one I hold the most strong opinions for. What I don't have any controversial feelings about is the fact that Alan did an awesome job with the vocals.
Oh yeah, Alan freaking killed it.
Alan, is like honestly an insane vocalist.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, speaking as one of the vocalists here, I'm kind of shit-talking literally everyone, but I'm also shit-talking myself here, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Alan, I think, is one of the best vocalists that's been on this project.
Exactly. And they're just like, they're really professional about it. They're really cool. and their vocals are fantastic, especially in this one. They have a good range, and that's like the one thing that I have no issues with this track. What I have a problem with is everything else. So the lyrics are childish in a way that it feels like it's not even that fun to listen to sometimes.
I get that, yeah.
I know, I see what I was going for originally when it came to the, repeat it several times. Thank God I didn't repeat it a fourth time, because that's how many times it would have gone on for. But like, I kind of wanted like the contrast, like over time, like, okay, this is how it deteriorates when you play the game. And then there's like, just like, depicting this child's obsession with a fruit maze minigame, it's just weird.
It's funny when you say it like that.
It's very,
it's
quite odd, but also it doesn't relate to what I was going for with FNAF 6. Tracks, because it's like I wanted one for each individual animatronic, and this does not fit that. I think I only put this in here because I was originally going to include Midnight Motorist as a track, which was a track that got scrapped, and you can hear what I originally had for that in the scrapped album that we put on the channel a few months back. So I think that's why this was included, and this was kind of a relic from that. And it just didn't really get reworked after that because, I needed that slot to fill up 30 tracks.
Yeah, you see, we can't deny that good round number.
Exactly, like if we made 30 tracks, I'd rather have this than not have it, if that makes sense. But it's just just the general like structure of this is very odd, and I do not like the like how I handled this in a way, with like having it being very abruptly in there.
I'm pretty sure outside of Nowhere to Run, this is the longest track in the musical.
This is the longest track in the musical.
Including,
You mean Where Dreams Die? Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, words. Yeah, not yeah. All the end songs have such similar names, you know.
Yes, they do. Yeah, because what are they called? There's Nowhere to Run, an End, and Where Dreams Die. An End is incredibly like generic track, but you know what? It was the name of the track. I'm not. That's not my job. I didn't name the tracks.
Exactly. Got a problem? Take it up with Leon Riskin.
Please don't know. He's great. This is where it gets really, really bad. Of course, not vocals. We've went over this.
Yeah.
I'm also okay with the art I made for this. It's like fine. For a human face at the time, this is probably the best I had. It could have looked worse, guys. Okay. Basically, another thing why Smashing Windshields was cut was because the lore that I included in it, because the Midnight Motors minigame is so ambiguous. Like, no one can understand that. Having a crack at, like, making a musicalized version sucked, because all the lyrics were really literal, and it just didn't sound good whatsoever. It just didn't fit. The music didn't fit with the characters, the storyline. It was just all wrong. And this is sort of another thing that carried over, because a popular theory at the time is that this is Susie, the child. I don't know why we changed the text here.
Yeah.
And also, why is he using the Afton voice here?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember like when recording this, I jokingly did like a Goofy impression for one of like a joke take out of like 5 different takes I did over the tracks, and I honestly think that now it would have probably fit better.
It would have fit a lot. It would have fit a lot better, and like having the dog involved, it's just like. It's such cringy dialogue at the end. I should have just gone with the original one that was at the end of the game, because that was a lot better. I don't know why I had a crack at rewriting that. And it's probably the one thing that I would remove now and completely rework, because I have such a gripe with how I involved that in 4 Bits to the Left. But to move on from that, the lefty/puppet track, back on course, I guess.
Yeah.
And I really like this track. It's very static and robotic, and it's meant to be like that, because at this point, the puppet is nothing but a drone. They're literally just, hey, I'm here to watch things. That's it.
Protect green bracelet.
That's it. That's it. That's the only thing that they do. And like, it's very, like, I could have made it a little bit better, but it's just kind of like, again, it's going back to like that childish intent with like the lyrics, and like the very, a part of me feels like that's just an excuse for my like inexperienced writing at the time.
Either way, it still fits, and you still have an excuse for it.
It still fits.
Works, so.
I about to say, it's just, hey, yeah, I got that there if I need it.
Yeah, it's better than just being like, actually, it's good and perfect, and it's a fully complex writing, shut up.
Exactly. But this is, it was the first time that V recorded something for the puppet. I would get rid of this dialogue, though, afterwards. The system error was meant to be a lot more, like, imposing, in my head, but it didn't come out that way, unfortunately. But no, this was the only time in the musical where an original arrangement was made. A slower...
Hi, Blade. Shout out to Blade.
Shout out to Blade for making this really nice rendition. I'm pretty sure they made another remastered one lately.
Oh, yeah, I think I'll
so do watch that if you have the chance. And then this is sort of when the puppet begins to have like sort of a conscience about what's happening. And also just being very ambiguous, being ambiguous about like who the he is, although we all know who the he is, obviously.
Yeah. It's the he who always comes back.
Yeah, it's Gustavo Fring.
Gustavo Fring, yeah. The funny bunny, who we'll get to now.
Yeah, exactly. But no, very nice arrangement that was made, just to fit that last bit, because it was meant to be slower, somber, and like just slowing it down just didn't do it well enough. So thank you to Blade for that. Now comes another track, sort of like to like complement that in a way, I guess. Is the Afton Serenade.
I always saw this as like we were saying like the anti-demolition inevitable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of get that. I wanted to like delve more into like what is Afton doing at this point? Like, what's his motive for just sort of staying alive? And I guess we can still question that in this modern day and age with Fnaf.
Yeah.
Oh
no, he's not alive anymore. It's the mimic.
Oh yes,
we're not going to get into that.
That's a can of worms that we're not going to open. We have some opinions, but we're not going to discuss them. For now, this is kind of just like Afton sort of accepting that he's as good as dead at this point. Like he's persisted past death for so long that he just wants to be done. But he can't do that because this is his punishment.
Yeah.
But so, you know, it's kind of him coming to grips with, you know, yeah, I've really fucked up here. And I might as well...
Too late to go back.
I was about to say, I might as well go out with one last bang. And also, this art, man, you did such a good job with it. It's really...
I tried my best to salvage the design that was Scrap Trap.
That was Scrap Trap. You actually made something that looks anatomical inside.
Oh, thank you.
Does it... It will never save him from being a little Jimmy Neutron brain, but...
Yeah.
You know, really good stuff. And also that little reprise back to, you know, the spring traps here. You know, just sort of like he's sort of trying to dearly hold on to any legacy he might still have left.
Yeah. But
No.
yeah, and that kind of ties into the fact that no one likes Scrap Trap as much as they like Spring Trap. Like,
Exactly.
the legacy is dead.
You know, this is definitely Afton at his lowest point in his life, and I think Scrap Trap symbolizes that very well, right? Like, as much as we can criticize Scrap Trap, like he's not well designed whatsoever. There's definitely some shakiness to him, but he's still an important part of FNAF 6 that like needed to be there. And also the security breach thing up there.
Yeah, you asked me to change it out, and I did switch it out with the Fizzy Pop, but then we didn't end up using it for some reason.
For some reason.
Yeah,
hey,
I still think I should have like not used any of that. I just like make my own posters for all of them now, of course. But yeah.
But still, also you had the you replaced your own face with the what was that?
Uncle
The poster?
Sam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was for Josh's June Jam Sesh.
Exactly. And then there's like this bit of the lyrics here, which is just like, yeah, like I'm just gonna blame this on anyone else. Because I don't want people to sympathize with Afton because he's an absolutely like horrid character.
Typical cishet white man behavior.
Yeah, he's not a character you should sympathize with, but I thought it'd be cool to sort of like understand a little bit more this version of William that I was going for. Also, I feel like the poster up there could just be in reference to you know, Security Breach the musical.
Yeah, it was foreshadowing.
It was foreshadowing, especially in this track.
Didn't this track come out like before Security Breach did?
How ironic it was the Scrap Trap track, though.
Yeah.
How ironic. Right.
It was William all along.
I don't know what it was with Ryan at this point. Our friend Ryan. Because at the time, he was getting cast in projects where he was playing characters that only showed up at the end.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for the man. But at the end of the
Henry
day...
here.
Yeah.
He He was Burn Trap for the first line of Security Breach.
Yep.
And for you longtime viewers of the Muses Mire may know of Undertale Stay Determined, a canceled project that we're not going to come back to, don't ask.
Yeah.
He did get cast as Asgore, who only shows up at the end.
However, Ryan did an absolutely fantastic job by playing Henry in this last bit. I also really wish I rewrote that to this. There is no birthday, there are no children. Because that just makes a lot more sense. And of course, like, I could always look back at this and think I could have, like, cleaned that up a bit more. This makes a little bit more sense, but this one's meant to be just a, we have to tie everything up now. Here's the loose ends, you know, we have Ennard, we have Baby, Puppet, and Afton. Michael's here as well. We've got to wrap this up. And I wish it stayed like that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh my god, I forgot I drew that. I actually don't mind that Michael design.
Yeah, you're good at making grotesque, rotting people.
Thank you very much. And also just the throwback to, you know, all the prior tracks, you know, just reminder that everything is still here in the same universe, everything's still tortured. I also was very careful in which ones I chose to include, like, there's none of the arcade minigames, Shadow Bonnie isn't here, also, the good ending is not here.
Because within that canon, they're like, oh, but then the guys are supposed to be here now, it's
Yeah. I was very
popped off with this art.
I do wish I could have redone it, but I do like how this came out, and also like the, you know, the animatronics singing, like, you know, their sort of like final pleas for help, with Henry just being like, you know, I don't give a damn, bro, like, just die already.
Terminated.
Yeah, exactly. Also that low note, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan hits that bass note.
You're incredible.
Well.
And then the small reflection back to himself before everything cuts out. And then our final little send-off to some of the animatronics before we get into some pretty... something that I've got a lot of things to say about. But as for an end, this is generally just meant to be... This is it. This is our very, like... This is our whimper of an ending for us. Like, this isn't meant to be exciting. This is meant to be... These guys are unceremoniously moving on into the afterlife, for some good, for some worse. Like, for Molten Freddy, their spirits are moving, you know, they are set free. You know, his cage is let loose. Baby as well, you know, William Afton's daughter.
Same with Charlotte.
Yep, the puppet as well. Afton is the only one. Oh yeah, also this parallel of just, I will not forget you and I cannot forgive you. Also just like, and I also like to think like Funtime Freddy still thinks is like him and Michael's time together is just a fun game.
Yeah.
That's just a nice little headcanon I have. Not a nice headcanon, but like a headcanon I have. And also, yeah, just Scrap Trap moving down into hell as well. Like he's like his soul. As we will see very soon.
With the final track.
This is my favorite track.
That's very valid.
This is my personal favorite track. Just because of how much it wraps everything up. So this is obviously meant to be based on Ultimate Custom Night, but like there's no office gameplay. I took it as this is Golden Freddy, you know, the crying child's final chance to give, you know, William Afton hell by reminding them of every single sin they've created. By having, like, you know, the spirit circling. Yeah. And, you know, this...
And also, I love this piece so
this
much.
Is... I really like how I did this. And can I say... This is like 15 people doing this, and I am so surprised that the mix came out this well and like this cohesive. because it could have been so misguided.
Cacophonous.
Yes, it could have. And by this point, we were really comfortable with what we were doing. So I think that's why this came down to being like the best produced track.
Yeah, if we tried to do this like back when we were doing
Like,
Fnaf
let's
2
say this was like
songs,
the first one we were doing. This would not be anywhere near as good.
not even close.
I was also quite particular with how I split this up as well. Because in the original draft of this, it was only Where Dreams Die. Like, I only used the Where Dreams Die track. And it was like groups of animatronics singing each verse. And it was very anticlimactic. It was not long enough. And I think for this, like, this is the only way I could have sent it off, by having a bunch of different tracks of From Music End collected into one video, and all of the animatronics recounting on their memories. So, like, this is obviously meant to, like, represent the bad ending from Fnaf 3. You know, like, the spirit still being quite lost, but realizing their anger is directed towards William now. The Fredbear plush being a stand-in for, like, the crying child's death, and Charlie's sort of experience being, you know, these are all, like, this is an encapsulation of all the children that died. Because you've got also Charlotte there. Elizabeth,
Yeah.
sorry. Elizabeth. Who
Charlotte's there too, wait.
who died inside Baby. So yeah, these were all meant to be, you know, depictions of, like, the children that we most know who are dead. So you've got the original 4, Golden Freddy, Baby, and Puppet.
What about Cassidy? Should have made a disclaimer at the start, like, hey, this project's lore isn't the FNAF lore. We know the FNAF lore, we know it's not this, leave it alone.
Exactly. I really like this next one. This one's really cool. It's only 3 animatronics, but it's really nice, I think.
Oh yeah,
Because it's me, Cam, and Odd. And I'm not gonna toot my own horn here because that's not what I like doing. But Cam and Odd did a phenomenal job once again reprising, you know, Ballora and Funtime Foxy.
And also, I have to say, like...
Two Evil Eyes? Reference?
Ah!
Sorry.
One thing, Adam, I'll toot your horn for you. You did good here.
Oh, you suck.
And another thing, like, Odd and Cam's voices for these characters also just, like, mix really well.
They are so good. Also, do not look at the earring. Anyway,
It's,
I still really love this art that I made. This is still really nice, I think.
It came out so
Also,
well.
the only time where Pug stepped in to help with art.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say that was the first time that, like, Secret jumped in, but they also did the FNAF World track, which we didn't really get a chance to talk about. But I'll talk about it a little bit later on. I'll have a chance to say something about it.
Yeah.
You know, Pug, Secret, you guys are fantastic. This one's the most jam-packed, with, like, all the characters that, like, I couldn't fit into the rest of them. And, like, you know, all of the like, this was mostly the arcade characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the
plus
arcade
Molten Freddy.
track. Yeah.
This one I think I crammed like 3 different references into it. So we got Old Friends, reference to the 6th track, Count the Ways, reference to the story, and another round, a reference to a Funtime Freddy song that was made. 3 references packed into there all at once.
3 in a row with the 3 different tracks. Yeah,
Exactly. And then, obviously, 3 arcade characters here.
This art goes hard too.
Yeah, as I say, Pug did really cool with this one. And also just, like, giving Shadow Bunny the whiskers, that's really nice.
Yeah.
It looks almost like Glitch Trap in a way.
Oh yeah, like the anatomically correct notes,
Exactly.
too.
Also, I'm pretty sure, did the hide and seek one come up yet? Yeah, I think it was.
so.
Yeah, so I referenced to hide and seek there. But no, FNAF World, the joke enemy they went against, like the toughest enemy in the game, was Balloon Boy. And this was a good way to spin that into, like, something that was actually threatening. Just a big ol', just, like, roundabout way of concluding everyone's sort of, like, piece. Put you you back together as well.
Put you back together.
And then pull you apart, like a reference to like the Nightmare Fredbear line from UCN. So I had these little nods to characters, like even though they weren't there, I still wanted to pay attention to them as well. And then Michael's reflection of William, like in the glass, like he's seeing his son there again. So everyone, I really just wanted to give everyone one final chance to voice their characters again. I also like to think that like Shadow Bonnie's like creating the projections of the arcade animatronics as well, as like sort of like Torrent, because like he sort of like has that control over them in a way. I like to think that anyway. Also, this art was like in small reference to the secret Funtime Freddy, no, just the normal Freddy, like ripping his head off screen in FNAF 1, and for some reason there's like gums in him.
Yeah, I was about to say this dude right out here, he just ate a bunch of bubble gum.
Yeah. Friends are forever, like the FNAF AR sort of. Yeah, that line he has in FNAF AR.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just like the main cast getting their last goodbye in a way.
Yeah.
And then Foxy, Foxy realizing, now his memory's been jogged.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, Bonnie and
You
Foxy.
as the director get the last line in there.
I had 4 words.
Yeah, but still, shut up.
Chamber, sort of like her stomach catch in a way.
That's another reference to the voice line.
Ooh, yeah. But no, Where Dreams Die is really just like the main core cast.
Yeah,
or like the most important animatronics in a way, getting their final chance to like say fuck you to William. And also bringing Fredbear back for this last bit. Because he's probably one of the most recognized bits of Ultimate Custom Night, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Crying Child, in a way.
The only other, like, most recognizable piece of UCN stuff that didn't get in here was Mr. Hippo.
Real. And do you know what something? That was planned.
Yeah, I
there
remember,
was going to be a Mr. Hippo paragraph in this, but it never ended up making it to the end. So there's a little bit of trivia for you guys. So thank you for sitting through this with us. If you made it to the end, Congration, you know a little bit more about what it's like to make this sort of stuff, I guess, and our thoughts on this project. Also, the co-directed bit that originally said do-directed, and I had to go over it again. But yeah, no, props to everyone who helped out with this project. Absolutely, like a year on, this still holds up pretty well, I think.
For the most part,
there are obviously big problems with this project, and like continuity errors and mixing errors, art errors, voice acting things that could have been improved. But like obviously this was our first go around at it, and I think this could have been done a lot worse. And the fact this was done at all, because most projects that try to go for like things like sometimes just don't end up going through. Sometimes like directors have to like go through like real life things, or maybe most of the cast drop out, lose interest, maybe some things just don't go to plan. And I think it was really a special thing that we got to make this in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it led on to us making a lot more things on the Muses now. Like DJ Music Man, and Laugh Track, and the Koopalings Project, and Bootlegger Boogie. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely just some things that... After Hours walked so that the Muses could run, in my opinion.
And yeah, I would add more, but you've covered it all pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. So if you honestly like, if you like, we could do this for more projects in the future. Like we could go over the Koopalings, we could go over. We could, if the Scrapped album, if we really want, we could do Fire Emblem. We could even do, Josh, I think it would be good if you did a Security Breach, the musical.
Yeah. There's a lot to talk about with
Security Breach. There is a lot to talk about with Security Breach.
A lot of behind the scenes stuff.
There's a lot to go over.
The mindset behind the project.
Yeah, we probably need to express our thoughts. And this was a very emotional day when we kind of like when this wrapped up and we played the credits for the first time and we got to talk to each other and call about it.
Yeah, that was really sappy.
And yeah, absolutely just a thank you to the cast and crew once again, because I can't express my gratitude enough for like allowing me to just be a part of the Muses and letting me trusting me so much to have this project function. But also thank you to you, the viewer, for sticking with us to the end if you have, or even just watching a little bit. And thank you, Josh, for joining me.
I was gonna say thank you to all those people too, but fuck you, I guess. Thank you for having me, Adam, and thank you for like putting together this whole project as like being able to push us through to the end, even like at the, you know, the sticking points and whatnot. You really kept pushing and got it done.
Yeah, and even if like some of the like obviously like there have been things that we haven't talked about, mainly some rather like not pretty things that we don't want to talk about with this project, because that's just not the kind of memory we want this thing to have. But even though there were some hardships, really good stuff looking back, and I think that's a pretty good place to leave it.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for coming, and support Dark Deception now that it's coming out.
Security breach was a